Haha, I got it. What's up, everyone? Inside the Ropes is back, and for a rare topic here where me and my brother are on the same video for it, we're actually going to talk what I usually talk alone, boxing. And I mean, right now you can't talk boxing without hearing about Mayweather McGregor. I mean, this fight is it's bubbling over. It's everywhere right now, man. I mean, the press conferences this week
were fucking great.
Have been absolutely priceless.
And McGregor, hats off to McGregor. You clowned the shit out of Floyd Mayweather.
Listen, I got it 4-0 in those press conferences, man. Conor had a clean sweep. He made Floyd look like an idiot. I don't even think Floyd knew how to handle it.
You can't even read!
Because for the first time, Floyd was the one getting clowned by someone.
Yeah.
And he really had no answers for any of it.
Yeah, because he always won.
He's always, well, because he's Floyd Mayweather. But I'll tell you what.
So the one time where someone clowns him, he has no response.
I'll tell you what. McGregor, though, you have to look at it like everybody's been like, oh, he's been cocky. Listen, Conor McGregor has been waiting for something like this since he got into the fight game.
Yep.
Something this big, something of this magnitude. He always said it, that he was destined for something like this. That he was going to transcend MMA, and he's doing that right now. Conor McGregor is literally bigger than the UFC at this moment. Whether you want to hear that or not, because in this one fight, he's going to make more money than all the other UFC fighters will this year combined.
He said it in the press conference against Eddie Alvarez. Without me, this whole fucking ship sink.
I mean, right now he's got a legitimate claim to all of that.
Yeah.
Because no MMA fighter has ever come close to being as big as he is. And I think the closest person who came to it was probably Ronda Rousey.
That was it.
Popularity-wise, at least, transcending the sport, going into mainstream, all that kind of stuff. Ronda was probably the one who came the closest to where he is, and he's surpassed even that. He has gone on to where now, arguably, the greatest boxer of this generation was walking around calling him out.
Yeah.
And now he found a way to get him into a boxing ring. And he's going to clear $100 million off the fight. And like he said to him, it's like half a fight. Nobody's trying to kick him. Nobody's trying to elbow him. Nobody's trying to take him down and choke him out. And I tell you, I've been really going back and forth with this fight, because the purist in me that loves boxing and MMA both says that in a boxing ring, McGregor should have no chance against Floyd Mayweather. Because Floyd is, whether people want to hear this or not, the best fighter of this generation in a boxing ring. Plain and simple. Anybody that's been put in front of Floyd Mayweather, he has made them look ridiculous, including Manny Pacquiao.
That was bad.
So, to say that Conor McGregor can come over from an MMA cage and go 12 rounds with the best of this generation and win sounds ridiculous.
It does.
However, there's some things you have to notice leading up to this fight. Number one is that if you've paid attention at the weigh-ins, at the press conferences and the face-offs, McGregor is a lot bigger than Floyd Mayweather. A lot bigger than, and I don't just mean, I'm not talking height. I'm talking physical stature-wise. He is bigger than Floyd. Number two, McGregor is just hitting his physical prime. He just turned 29 years old.
Yep.
The scary fact about that man is, and what we've all seen him do in MMA, is that he's only going to get better right now. He's not getting worse right now. He's hitting his peak. Floyd is a 41-year-old fighter who's been out of the game for 2 years. We don't know how much his reflexes have slowed. We don't know, can he still stand in front of you and make you swing and miss? Or is McGregor going to be able to make contact? And if McGregor makes contact, can Floyd stand up to his power?
It's something you gotta factor in.
You know, and will McGregor's power carry over with boxing gloves on? You know, these aren't MMA gloves. They're bigger. I believe they're using 10-ounce gloves, although at the press conference and everything, there's been a lot of debate about the gloves. We all heard Conor saying that Floyd's team doesn't want to use Mexican gloves and they don't want horsehair gloves. And Conor was like, oh, horsehair bullshit and blah, blah, blah. And all this shit about the gloves. I don't really give a fuck. Put whatever gloves you want on me, I'm going to kill him. Listen, for Floyd's sake, I hope Conor doesn't forget that this is a boxing match.
Yeah.
Because Floyd could really get hurt out there. Because let's be realistic here. In a real straight up street fight, Conor McGregor eats Floyd Mayweather for breakfast. That's just a fact. And he has fun with it. He toys with Floyd in a real fight.
Yeah.
In a boxing match, it's a different world, man. And it's a world that Floyd Mayweather has perfected. But I gotta say, leading into this thing, I thought this fight was a joke. I really did. I was one of the people who wasn't thrilled to hear about it.
Yeah.
You know, seeing the spectacle and the press conferences and all that, and the way like Dana and McGregor are definitely playing that underdog card, like the UFC's been kind of like the side note in all this, and it's Mayweather Promotions, and I'm really, really pulling for Conor to send Floyd's head somewhere in like the 5th row. Just, I would love to see it. And can you imagine that stadium if Conor finds a way to knock out Floyd Mayweather?
Everyone's going nuts.
But do you know how
Floyd Mayweather's first loss will be to the biggest UFC fighter, UFCC.
Do you know the blow that would be dealt to boxing at that point, though?
Yeah.
That's why the boxing fans are not behind this. That's why boxing experts are not behind this fight.
Yeah.
It's because of the damage it could possibly do to boxing.
It could.
Because if now, this isn't like, when James Toney went over to fight Randy Couture in a cage, where, James Toney was old, out of shape, and way past his prime at this point. This is the guy who just walked away from your sport not 2 years ago as the unquestioned best fighter in the sport, going up against the best MMA fighter in the world. If Floyd loses, it essentially says that MMA fighters are better than boxers. And it says that Manny Pacquiao, Miguel Cotto, Canelo Alvarez, all these guys are garbage, and Conor can beat all of them because he just beat the guy who beat them.
Listen, everyone can say that Conor's getting cocky. Everyone can say what they want. Conor McGregor is doing the same thing that, when it comes to WWE, Brock Lesnar does. Same thing that Samoa Joe does. Same thing that Dean Ambrose does. Same thing that, just about half of the roster does. He's being Conor McGregor. That's who he is. He's going to come out. He's going to talk shit. He's going to make fun of you. Might make you cry if you don't got soft skin. But that's just him. Funniest press conference I've ever seen was him against fucking Eddie Alvarez.
Come on.
When he fucking just chimes in, sorry I'm late, I just don't give a fuck. Goes over, takes his belt, fucking puts it by him. Conor's great. It's hard to hate Conor McGregor. It's really hard to hate him. Because the man makes me laugh.
Listen, if you listen to a lot of boxing guys out there right now, they're not giving Conor a chance in hell.
They're not.
I mean, Max Kellerman went as far as to say this fight's a joke. And that Floyd is going to toy with Conor, and then when he wants to, he's going to put him away. First of all, that statement is a little bit off kilter Floyd Mayweather hasn't knocked anyone out since, let's be honest here, since he cheap shotted his way to a knockout. I mean, it wasn't a cheap shot, but it was a cheap shot. I mean, let's be real here. Okay? Floyd hasn't had knockout power in quite some time. His hands have taken a beating throughout the years. You know, I mean, I was watching the 124/7 ones where he had to go get his hands wrapped and the plaster thing on him and just to be ready to fight. Because his hands were in such bad shape that he had to go through all this therapy and stuff to make sure they were good for fight night.
Yeah.
The only way I see Floyd getting a knockout in this thing is if Conor gasses. And to me, that's Conor's biggest enemy right now.
Yep.
Is the
Floyd,
fact
if
that
Floyd can
he's...
drag Conor out past 3 rounds,
I mean,
then
look,
it's might as
realistically,
well over.
he gassed twice against Nate Diaz.
Yeah.
First time he got beat. The second time he was lucky enough to hold on for the win. But my boy Nate Diaz had his number in both of those fights. And it was because Nate and Nick Diaz are cardio nightmares. Those dudes run triathlons for fun. Who the hell runs a triathlon for fun? You know? Like, that's what they do in their spare time. And that's what I think, honestly, Floyd is looking at this fight as a joke right now. Because he's thinking, okay, maybe for 3 or 4 rounds I got to survive the bigger, stronger man swinging away at me.
Yeah.
Maybe. But then he's going to start gassing, and I'm going to pick my shots, pick them apart. I'm going to do what I did to Pacquiao. I'm going to find the distance. I'm going to jab. I'm going to straight right hand all night, and I'll walk my way to another easy payday.
Yep.
And also, listen, there's 2 things I want to say real quick about money in this situation. 2 things. Number 1. Floyd Mayweather, if you're fucking broke, you are the dumbest motherfucker on the planet.
Well, he can't read.
Okay? I don't understand how it's possible. With the numbers you have put up in pay-per-views and shit like that. The kind of money you made, I couldn't spend in 30 lifetimes. So if you're broke, what the fuck? And number 2, when Floyd turned and said in the press conference, I just thought I would show you motherfuckers what a $100 million fighter looks like. And he pulled out the check and he held it up and he was smiling and all that. Listen, there's a problem with that. You know what the problem is? That check is from a Pacquiao fight that he co-promoted. So if he's broke, maybe the reason he didn't cash the check is because his company doesn't have the money to pay him. Maybe that's why the check is still sitting in your friggin' book bag, not because you don't need it. Who the hell doesn't need $100 million? If you're that rich and you don't need that 100 mil, I tell you what, there's 100 million Americans out there that will take $1 million apiece and you'd be the most popular fighter in history. Having said that, if you're broke, I don't know what to say about you at this point. Seriously. You should have enough money to like buy a small country right now. So if you're broke, it's a sad day. And, you know, for Conor McGregor, man,
Conor can retire.
This is huge. Like, this is what every professional fighter wants. To get a fight like this, with this kind of payday. Like, Conor still lives home in Ireland. I believe. I'm pretty sure he still lives in Ireland. He might have moved over here to the States. I'm not positive. Okay? But let's say he wanted to move back to Ireland because he did live over here or something like that. Do you know what the hell he's going to do with that $100 million? He's done. Everybody talking about his next UFC fight. What the hell are you talking about?
He's not going to have the next UFC fight.
First of all, okay, let's say he beats Floyd, right? Well, now you got an immediate rematch coming because Floyd's going to want to get right back in the ring. And let's say Floyd wins that one. Well, now you got another match coming because now they're going to want to settle who the best is. So you got 3 fights right there where Conor's probably pulling in over $300 million. Okay? But let's say he loses to Floyd. He still just made $100 million to go box. You think he's going to step back into a UFC ring for what? $1 million payday? Why? No, you know what he'll do? He'll walk away. And then when the next big thing comes along, he'll come back, he'll draw Dana in, and he'll draw that into another big payday. But realistically, MMA fighters out there should be following Conor's lead right now. He has turned Dana White into his promoter. Dana is now answering to Conor McGregor because Conor McGregor is making Dana White more money than he's ever seen before. Conor has done this all perfectly. He has done everything on his time. He has made himself such a big name that he is now being tossed in a boxing ring with arguably one of the biggest boxing stars in the history of the sport. And you can get mad at me all you want for saying that, but go look up the pay-per-view numbers. Floyd Mayweather's pay-per-view numbers speak for themselves. And whether you were buying it because you hated him or because you loved him, it doesn't really matter. You still bought it and he got rich. So what the hell difference does it make? Now, having said all that, early predictions.
Early predictions.
Who do you got?
For me, it's too early to tell. But I'm about ready to have every single boxing fan in the world probably hate my guts. Early predictions, I gotta go with Conor.
You know,
this has been such a great build-up between press conferences, between the arguments those two have legitimately had.
yeah, they really don't like each other that much.
It's been such a great build-up. Conor's confident.
I found it funny when he was yelling at Floyd for being on the phone and then realized he was cursing at Floyd with his daughter standing there and was like, oh, hi. Sorry, princess. And he was like, like he was real respectful to the daughter once he realized she was there.
Yeah.
He was like, oh, shit, sorry. I didn't mean to call your daddy a bitch, but you standing right there. I'm sorry. Like, I found that pretty funny, but, you know, I'm sorry. You were saying?
Conor's got a lot of confidence in him. He seems confident going into this one. Like I said, Conor's downfall.
As if he's not preparing for a 12-round fight.
As if he's not preparing for a 12-round fight. And if he is, well, that's what you should be doing. You know. But I'm hoping that you are preparing for a 12-round fight.
You know, I'll tell you what. I've been listening to this a lot. Different commentators and supposed experts giving their opinions on the fight and what they think Conor should do. And they all say the same thing, that they think Conor should come out and swing for the fences for 4 rounds. And if he can't get it done at that point, just accept that he's going to lose to Floyd Mayweather at that point. But I don't really understand those comments.
It's the people that just want Conor to lose.
Because to me, Conor McGregor has sniper-like accuracy.
He does.
Serious power. I mean, serious power. Jose Aldo had never been stopped, never been beaten, and Conor beat him with 1 shot.
That fight, the press conference for that fight was fucking hysterical.
Okay? So we're talking about a guy with, like, dynamite in his fists. Serious accuracy and ridiculous speed. Like they tested him on that sports science show. He's got ridiculous reflexes. All these things. Why in the world would he just come out and throw bombs, hoping to land something big? But I'll tell you what, we better all hope he does, because if he doesn't, this could turn into a 12-round staring match. Because both of these guys are counterpunchers. Which means we could literally be sitting there, watching them stare at each other, waiting for one of them to throw a punch.
Yep.
But, I mean, realistically here, let's break this down realistically. Power, McGregor. You got to give him the edge. Size, McGregor. Age,
McGregor.
youth, McGregor. Experience,
Mayweather.
We're going into a boxing ring here, so you got to give it to Mayweather.
Give it to Mayweather for that one.
Speed.
I would have to go Mayweather.
It's close, but I've never seen Conor in there with some of the guys I've seen Floyd close. In there with, and Floyd made him look slow.
It's close, but I gotta go Mayweather simply for the fact that Conor has not stepped into a boxing ring. This is just throwing straight punches, not combination kicks, punches,
it's a different
slams. It's a whole different world to Conor.
Reflexes, things like that, I think it's a wash.
Yeah.
I think this fight's a lot closer on paper than most people are giving it credit for right now.
Yeah.
I understand the whitewash here. I do. I get it. Floyd's, 40-0. And he's absolutely embarrassed anybody who's ever gotten into a boxing ring with him, with the exception of Marcos Maidana, who gave him, 2 good fights, and Jose Luis Castillo, and even De La Hoya, who gave him his best shot. But, I don't know, man. Conor's power is, off the friggin' charts. But we've seen Floyd take a shot, man. We have. Shane Mosley hit Floyd with a couple of solid shots. Big guys have hit Floyd before with big shots. The real question in this fight is going to be, at 41 years old, does Mayweather still have the Mayweather reflex? Can he still, at the last second, move out of the way of a clean shot that's coming in? Can he still roll with the punches and make sure he doesn't take anything clean? Because realistically, with Conor's speed and his power and his timing, it only takes one mistake by Mayweather for Conor to land something big and clean, and the fight's over. But early predictions, early on, God, I'm going to hate myself for saying this. Right now, until I see more of Conor in a boxing ring, which I don't know how much of that we're going to see training-wise. I don't know if we're going to see anything really. I've seen a couple clips, not much. I got to lean towards Mayweather. I just sincerely hope that Conor's team has him on a boxing regimen right now.
Yeah.
Because I know MMA people are going to say, oh, well, we do 5, is it 5-minute rounds in MMA?
Yeah, I believe so.
Or is it 3-minute rounds? I think it's 3-minute rounds, isn't it?
It's one of the 2.
I think it's 5 3-minute rounds or whatever the hell it is these days. I don't know. I watch MMA for knockouts. I hate it when they go to distance. Unless it's a war. But I know they'll say it's 5 3-minute rounds of non-stop. The guys are on top of you all the time. But that's apples and oranges, man. In a boxing ring, you have 12 3-minute rounds where you have to be able to keep up that pace. Otherwise, you're going to give it away to Floyd. So I hope he's really stepped up his conditioning for this fight. I hope, in fact, if I was him, I'd be focusing more on my cardio than I would my skill in a boxing ring. Because if you still have gas in the tank in the 10th round, then you still have a chance at landing something that could hurt Mayweather. But if you're completely gassed, standing there with your hands down, while Floyd's pot-shotting you, you've become an embarrassment at that point. So I think for now, I'm going to stay the course and say that this is Mayweather's show, and unless he does something incredibly stupid in this fight, he should walk away with a win here. But, again, I reserve the right to change my opinion on this one because, God, I would love to see Conor McGregor do this, man. I would love to see him knock out Floyd. I would love to read the reactions and everything from people the next day.
Oh, it's going to be hell.
I mean, either way, social media, all that shit's going to be
blown up.
Off the friggin' hinges.
It's all anyone's talking about right now.
The press conferences
Everyone's
and all
talking about
that.
the press conferences, the fight.
Listen, the press conferences deserve it right now, man. They've been entertaining as hell.
They're funny as shit.
Conor McGregor is absolutely gold on a microphone.
Fucking Floyd throwing the fucking money all over the place. He picks up.
There's nothing but singles.
There's nothing but singles in here.
And then Floyd's like, that's because that's all your work, bitch. And I was like, wow, these two really don't like each other.
Told Floyd he can't even read. I'm pretty sure everyone's told Floyd he can't even read. Because let's be honest, he can't. But still.
Conor even calling 50 Cent a bitch.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, listen, I'm actually a little sad that the press tour is over with because it's been a lot of fun.
Yeah.
It really has. The only thing I think is going to be better than this is when we actually get closer to the fight.
Yeah.
And they have to do their weigh-ins and stuff like that, and those will all be interesting. Night of the fight, it's all going to come down to conditioning and Floyd Mayweather.
Yep.
Honestly, this is what this fight hinges on. Does Conor McGregor come in there in shape and ready to go 12 rounds if it is needed? And is Floyd Mayweather still Floyd Mayweather? Because, honestly speaking, even if Conor is in the best shape of his life, if Floyd Mayweather is still Floyd Mayweather in a boxing ring, this is going to be a tough challenge for Conor, period.
It will be.
Because Floyd Mayweather has made great boxers look like amateurs in a boxing ring. So, you know, listen, I understand what everybody else is saying. Because if you flip this and you put it in an MMA cage, I'll say it again. Floyd doesn't last 2 minutes in an MMA cage. He doesn't. It just doesn't happen. Conor absolutely obliterates this man in the cage. But we're not in the cage. We're in a boxing ring. Where Floyd knows every in and out, every nuance, every little trick that there is in the game. But that's pretty much it. We'll do some more videos about this leading up to it because every other friggin' day there's something new to talk about.
Yep.
I mean, these two guys are like friggin' gold in social media world. Like, they're just going to keep dropping bombs on each other. Who the hell knows what's next? And listen, for all the people out there saying that this fight's going to bottom out and it's not going to happen somehow, neither one of these guys is going to allow this payday to disappear. Not happening. The kind of money they're going to make off this fight is ridiculous. So, it's coming. Mayweather, McGregor. We'll have to just wait and see what happens. But until then, see you later.